AFC playoff picture, it will be the Dolphins heading to Orchard Park to take on the Bills. Ravens will be taking on the Bengals. No coin toss needed there because of the Bengals win. And the Jaguars will host the Chargers. The Jaguars, unlikely AFC South winners. They got the job done on Saturday night, and they are in the postseason. Jeremy St. Louis alongside Rick Spielman and Pete Prisco. So looking at the other matchups that we have in the wild card round, I mean, that Ravens-Bengals game, and we talk about the situation with Miami and Buffalo, and that's probably going to be a double-digit spread there. But, I mean, when you look at those other games, what are you thinking in terms of what we might see in terms of the spreads and the differences?
Well, I think, as we talked about earlier, Pete, that Buffalo-Miami game, I don't think is going to be a contest, especially if Tua doesn't play. And I think that the Jaguars, the way they're playing, and I know Lawrence didn't play as well last night, but he played well enough for them to win, but their defense is playing good. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars give the Chargers a run for their money.
Well, I mean, you look at that down the bottom, who has the quarterbacks? That's what you have to look for. Of the teams playing next week, who has the quarterback? Miami doesn't. Baltimore has some uncertainty at the quarterback position. The other teams all have quarterbacks, all of them. And so I think it's going to see which quarterback ends up, becoming the hot guy, and that's who's going to advance in the postseason.
If Lamar Jackson plays, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, but I mean, there's even when if he comes back, there's still questions about him in terms of his ability, because how healthy is he?
Right.
So, and his whole game is predicated on being able to move. If he can't move that well, then that's a problem.
And the way the Bengals are playing as well. I mean, Bengals are rolling like the Bills right now. They're playing very, very good football.
The good news about the Bengals is the defense is starting to make a lot of big plays, and they've done that in the last. We know their offense is going to score points. They've started to make a lot of big plays on defense.
But Pete, what kind of confidence does it give you? Because we saw that Jags game last night, and the fact that the defense is essentially what won them that game last night, with Lawrence having a so-so performance. What kind of confidence does that give you in the Jaguars? Maybe not necessarily just against the Chargers, but as they've kind of gone on this season and Doug Peterson's kind of revamped this team.
I thought we saw a bad offense, from them on Saturday night. It was not a good performance, not just by the run game wasn't good. Lawrence didn't play well, and the defense, quite frankly, has been an issue all year long. And I was surprised. Look, you're playing a third-team guy off the street. You should be able to dominate that guy. Dobbs was a pickup, a scrap heap pickup, and he was making plays against him. I still worried about their defense. If I had to pick these games right now, I probably would say Buffalo would win, Bengals will win, and I think the Chargers will win.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that, because I think the Jaguars will win because they are playing better defensively. And if you can run the ball and you can play good defense, you got a much better chance of advancing in the playoffs.
This is an early pick. Let me see how the Chargers think about
it. And if your head coach there, Peterson, doesn't run a Philly special play, he has won a game for you every week.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be Lawrence against Herbert will be fun. That's going to be fun. That's a kind of game you want to see. You hope the weather's good and they can shoot it out.
If both teams play the games that we've become accustomed to them playing. One of your bugaboos all the time is the fact that teams get away from their playing style.
Yeah, and I thought Jacksonville got a little bit away from their playing style at times last night when they went down the field and then they ran that bad play. Herbert, we know they've gotten away from. But remember, the first time Jacksonville dominated them early in the season, Herbert had a bad rib. Played, but they didn't have the receivers. Well, now everybody's back, and I think that's a big difference for them.
In terms of the AFC playoff picture, three what could be good games coming up next week in the Super Wildcard round. In terms of the odds to win the AFC, well, you'd have to say the Buffalo Bills would be right up there, but it is the Kansas City Chiefs that are the favorite. I mean, they're the 1 seed, so I guess it makes sense, plus 140, but way the Bills are playing right now, certainly a plus 200, a good number for them. Bengals also rolling plus 430. Then it is the Chargers, Ravens, Jacksonville. Jacksonville not even the long shot. That's the Dolphins at 28-1. And for a complete wrap-up of the week and analysis of all the major storylines that have come out of it, be sure you're listening to the Pick Six podcast. Will Brinson, Ryan Wilson, John Breach, and others giving you their thoughts on everything they saw and heard and setting up those storylines as we move forward into the playoffs. Download and follow the Pick Six Pod wherever you get your podcast audio, or even easier, just scan that QR code.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.